Dr. Cedric McFadden and Amishi Shah, welcome to the Valder Beebe Show live out of Dallas, Texas. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having us.
Dr. McFadden, would you tell your producer you're just a little bit low?
Okay.
In the meantime, Dr. McFadden, I'd like my audience to know that you are board-certified colorectal and general surgeon, and you're also teaching as an associate professor of surgery. So thank you for being here. I'd like to start with you and ask you, why should we take, first of all, I need to let my audience know, I'm sorry I didn't say that, screening saves lives. Colorectal cancer is the deadliest cancer among men under 50. That's my headline. Dr. Cedric, why should people take colorectal cancer screening and prevention seriously?
So we absolutely should take it seriously for a couple of reasons. Number one, this is a disease that can affect any of us and at any age. We used to think of colorectal cancer as an older person's disease, but we've seen the shift. We've seen more younger people being diagnosed with cancer, and by 2030, it's estimated to be the leading cause of cancer deaths in those that are young. You also mentioned the stat about men, but it's still the second leading cause of cancer deaths in men and women. So this is not a man's disease, it's not a woman's disease, this is all of us potentially at risk. If you had a colon, you're at risk. And so we also recognize that this is a potentially preventable cancer, which is why we're partnering with the Colorectal Cancer Alliance to really get people to go to getscreened.org to find out what test they should be using, when they should be using that test, and how frequently that test should be done to help prevent any colorectal cancer.
I'm going to let Amishi tell us a little bit about her story or her diagnosis. Amishi, could you tell us?
When I was 45 years old, when I should have been screened, I was very busy living life. I had moved from the West Coast to the East Coast and just didn't take it seriously to go see my doctor preventatively. When I got closer to 49, I started noticing blood in my stool, and that was the signal for me to go see the doctor. They did a FIT test. It was positive for blood, and eventually I was referred to a doctor who did my screening colonoscopy. And when I got the results, I was shocked to find out that I had stage 3B rectal cancer. And then I went through the treatment, chemotherapy, radiation, and 2 surgeries. I lost 2 body parts, and now I live with those consequences. I now know that I should have been screened a lot earlier, and I have been lucky to have some great resources through the Alliance at colorectalcancer.org.
And what kind of support is out there for you once you get this life-altering diagnosis?
There is some great educational material at colorectalcancer.org. There is a chat room. There is a buddy program, not only for patients, but also for caregivers. And then as we advocate for early screening, there are some great resources and a quiz at getscreened.org.
Amishi, thank you. I'm so glad you're here to share your story. Dr. Cedric, were there any symptoms that Amishi should have been aware of? Tell us about symptoms to watch out for.
Yeah, so there are some, and her story is powerful, and she shares that symptom of perhaps seeing some bleeding. There are other signs or symptoms like abdominal pain, changes in your bowel habits, unexplained weight loss, just feeling fatigued or tired. But here's the key with colorectal cancer. In many cases, there are no symptoms. It's a silent killer. And so we don't want people to wait for those signs or symptoms when things can maybe be more advanced. We want people to get screened before that point. So getscreened.org is a great way to learn kind of when you should start that screening. But for average people, that's at age 45 years of age.
Dr. Cedric, people don't talk about colonoscopy. Could you talk a little bit about getting a colonoscopy?
Sure. So I think it starts with a conversation with your primary care doctor, who will likely refer you to a specialist that can perform the colonoscopy. Again, that's the screening test. And there are some other options, but for most of us, colonoscopy is one of the main go-tos. The test itself is a fairly easy test. It's fairly straightforward, and you get one of the best naps that you'll ever have. But it allows us, as your doctors, to take a look to find any of these small little polyps that can become cancers. And if a cancer is found, we can see how we can better assist you to getting rid of it to make sure you continue to kind of live your life as you were before.
This comes from one of the platforms that people either view us or listen us on, and the poster wants to know, this comes from Instagram, they want to know that each time they've gotten their colonoscopy, they've had, non-cancerous polyps. Is just getting them removed enough?
Yeah, so it depends. I mean, not all polyps are the same. There's some, as you mentioned, that are cancerous, and there's some that are non-cancerous. And depending on the type of polyp, that's going to dictate the timing that next colonoscopy should be done. It's also important to talk with your medical team, because if you find that you have so many of these cancerous polyps, there can be other genetic type syndromes that can be associated with that. So I think having a really comprehensive look at the types of polyps, the number of polyps, that gives you indications about what you should be doing next. But just simply removing polyps, that can go a long way to prevent cancers if they can be removed and if you get to them soon enough.
Dr. Cedric, this has been so informative. I want to thank you, and I miss you for stopping by the Valder Beebe Show. Dr. Cedric, where can they go online and get more information?
So again, the getscreened.org is a great site to go through the process of screening, picking the right test, and knowing the frequency which you should do that test. But also colorectalcancer.org is another great website that gives you a lot of information about navigating through the process, getting some of that vital support that's necessary to help you get through.
I want to thank you once again for stopping by the Valder Beebe Show. This has been life-changing. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Valder Beebe, host of the Valder Beebe Show. We have over 1,000 videos on ValderBeebeShow.com and YouTube.com/Valder Beebe Show. We upload new videos daily. Our site is a modern baby boomer platform with news and information important to boomers. Subscribe to YouTube.com/Valder Beebe Show and stay connected as I interview the world's most fascinating people.